Math-sayang araw sa inyong lahat. I am James Amboy, a grade 8 mathematics teacher and your moderator of the day for Bonifacio Javier National High School. Kanina po, sinamahan ng grade 8 learners and home learning partners si Ma'am Marites sa kanyang lecture. Bago po tayo magsimula, huwag po natin kalimutang i-follow our official Facebook page, Math Team Mathematics Teachers Association of MANDunong. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe sa ating YouTube channel and click the notification bell para updated po kayo sa ating upcoming video lesson. Mga batang mandunong at home learning partners, sabay-sabay po tayo mag-aral at matuto sa advanced learning lessons for week 2 of 3rd quarter. At ngayon po, ipinakikilala ko po sa inyo ang susunod nating lecturer ng grade 9 mathematics na si Miss ALYSSA She graduated at the Rizal Technological University with the degree of Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Mathematics, and currently teaching at Bonifacio Javier National High School. Batang Mandunong and home learning partners, sama-sama nating pakinggan si Ma'am ALYSSA sa kanyang lecture.
Thank you, Ma'am Gemma Amboy, for your introduction. Good day, everyone. I am Mrs. ALYSSA CDO for Bonifacio Javier National High School, and I am your facilitator for Quarter 3, Week 2 of our Mathematics CLAID Modules. So the objectives for this week are: use properties to find measures of sides and diagonals involving parallelograms. Identify quadrilaterals that are parallelograms. Prove theorems on the different kinds of parallelogram, the rectangle, rhombus, and square. And state the different characteristics of a special parallelograms. So before we start our topic or our lesson for today, let us have a short review about quadrilateral. When we say quadrilateral, it is a four-sided polygon. So we have different kinds of quadrilateral. We have a trapezoid. When we say trapezoid, it is a quadrilateral with one pair of parallel sides. Another kind is the kite. A kite is a quadrilateral with exactly two pairs of distinct equal consecutive sides. Another kind is the parallelogram. A parallelogram is a quadrilateral in which two pairs of opposite sides are parallel. So under parallelogram, we have what we call the special parallelogram. We have the rhombus, the rectangle, and the square. Our topic or our lesson for this week will focus on parallelogram. And again, when we say parallelogram, it is a quadrilateral in which two pairs of opposite sides are parallel. Here are some properties of parallelogram. Number 1, both pairs of opposite sides are congruent, which means that any pair or any two opposite sides are congruent or have the same measure. Next, both pairs of opposite angles are congruent, which also means that any pair of opposite angles have the same measures. Next, number 3, any two consecutive angles are supplementary. It means that any consecutive angles or any two consecutive angles, if we add their measure, the sum will be 180 degrees. Next, number 4, the diagonals divide it into two congruent triangles. It means that if we draw a diagonal, we will divide the parallelogram into two congruent triangles. Same goes with the other diagonal. We will also divide the parallelogram into two congruent triangles. Next property, or the last one, is that the diagonal bisect each other. It means that each diagonal cuts the other into two equal parts. In parallelogram, we have what we call special parallelograms. And one of it is the rhombus. So when we say rhombus, it is a parallelogram with four congruent sides, which means that all sides are congruent or all sides have the same measures. Another property of a rhombus is that diagonals are perpendicular. So when we say diagonals are perpendicular, the diagonals bisect each other and forms right angles. Another special parallelogram is the rectangle. A rectangle is a parallelogram with four congruent angles. It means that all angles are congruent or all angles have the same measures. Also, a rectangle or the diagonals of a rectangle are congruent. It means that the diagonals have the same measures. The last is the square. A square is a parallelogram with four congruent sides and four congruent angles. The properties of a square is same as the properties of the rhombus and the rectangles, which means that the square has four congruent sides and four congruent angles. Also, the diagonals are congruent and the diagonals are perpendicular. Special parallelograms have theorems. So let us first discuss the theorems on rectangle. It states there that if a parallelogram has right angle, then it has four right angles. And the parallelogram is a rectangle. So we have here a diagram. Our given rectangle MATH is a parallelogram with angle M as a or is a right angle. So we are going to prove that angle A, angle T, and angle H are also right angles. We have here some statements and reasons to prove our theorem. So number 1, rectangle MATH is a parallelogram with angle M is a right angle. So it is our given. Next, angle M is equal to 90 degrees. According to our given, angle M is a right angle. And according to the definition of right angle, the measure of a right angle is 90 degrees. So therefore, the measure of angle M is 90 degrees. Next, angle M is congruent to angle T and angle A is congruent to angle H. As you can see here, in our given, the opposite angle of angle M is angle T. So therefore, they are congruent. Same as the opposite angle of angle H is angle A. So therefore, they are also congruent. And that is one of the property of rectangle. Next, the measure of angle M is equal to the measure of angle T, and the measure of angle A is equal to the measure of angle H. Since angle M and angle T are congruent angles, therefore they have the same measure. Same goes with angle A and angle H. They are congruent angles, therefore they will have the same measures. Next, angle T is equal to 90 degrees. So since angle M or the measure of angle M is same or equal to the measure of angle T, by substitution, therefore, the measure of angle T will now be 90 degrees. So we have now the measure of angle M and angle T. Let us try to find next the measure of angle A. So next statement, the measure of angle M plus the measure of angle A is 180 degrees. In our given, angle M and angle A are consecutive angles. And consecutive angles are supplementary, which means that if we add their measures, the sum will be 180 degrees. Next, 90 degrees plus the measure of angle A is equal to 180 degrees. So by substitution, as we all know earlier, the measure of angle M is 90 degrees. So substituting the measure of angle M, we will now have the equation 90 degrees plus the measure of angle A is equal to 180 degrees. Next statement, the measure of angle A is equal to 90 degrees. So applying the subtraction property of equality, we subtract 90 degrees on both sides of the equation to get the measure of angle A. So that is why we now have the measure of angle A is equal to 90 degrees. Next statement, angle H is equal to 90 degrees. Since angle A and angle H are congruent angles, therefore the measure of angle A will be the same as the measure of angle H, or the measure of angle H will be the same as the measure of angle A. So therefore, angle H is now equal to 90 degrees by substitution. Next statement, angle A, angle T, and angle H are right angles. So kanina nakuha natin yung measures ni angle A, angle T, and angle H. They all have the measures 90 degrees. And if the measure of an angle is 90 degrees, therefore, they are right angles. So therefore, angle A, angle T, and angle H are all right angles. And statement 11, rectangle MATH is a rectangle by the definition of rectangle. Now let us use some property of parallelogram to solve a given problem. So our problem here, parallelogram MATH is a rectangle. If MT is equal to 5x minus 14, HA is equal to 4x plus 6, find the value of x and the specified sides MT and AS. So we have here the illustration of rectangle MATH with diagonals MT and HA. So let us first solve for the value of x. Since according to the property of rectangle, the diagonals of a rectangle are congruent. So therefore, MT is equal to HA. Now, to solve for x, we are going to substitute the given or the values of MT and HA. So we will have 5x minus 14 is equal to 4x plus 6. Now, let us transpose 4x to the left side of the equation and negative 14 to the right side of the equation. So we will have 5x minus 4x is equal to 14 plus 6. Now, solving each side of the equation, let us first solve the left side of the equation. So 5x plus 4x, 5x minus 4x, that will be x. While on the right side naman, 14 plus 6, the answer is 20. So therefore, the value of x is equal to 20. Now, let us solve for diagonal empty or side empty. Since the value of x is 20 and empty is equal to 5x minus 14, substitute the value of x to our empty. So we will have empty is equal to 5, quantity 20 minus 14. So, empty is equal to 100 minus 14. And solving that, side empty will now be 86. Because 100 minus 14 is equal to 86. And since empty is equal to 86, therefore, HA will also be equal to 86 because they are congruent. Now, let us solve for side AS. As you can see in our illustration, AS is half or 1/2 of HA. Or in other words, 2AS is equal to HA. Now, substituting HA, we will have 2AS is equal to 86. To get AS, we are going to divide both sides by 2. So, we will have now AS is equal to 43. So, side AS is equal to 43. Next, let us have now the theorems on rhombus. So, one of the theorems states that the diagonals of a rhombus are perpendicular. So, let us try to prove the theorem. We have here our given parallelogram FREN is a rhombus. We need to prove that FE or diagonal FE is perpendicular to diagonal RN. So here we have some statements and reasons to prove our theorem. So number 1, parallelogram FREN is a rhombus. That is according to our given. Next, number 2, segment FR is congruent to segment RE according to the definition of rhombus. So here is our illustration, and as you can see, FR and RE, they are both sides of the rhombus. And since the definition or the rhombus has 4 congruent sides, so therefore, FR and RE are congruent. Next, number 3, segment FE and segment RN bisect each other. So, segment FE and segment RN, they are the diagonals of the rhombus. So, one of the property of parallelogram is that the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. So, when we say bisect each other, they divide each other into 2 equal parts. And once they divide each other into 2 equal parts, or once they bisect, they will meet at one point. And that is the midpoint. So, in our illustration here, the midpoint of the 2 diagonals is point D. So, point D is the midpoint of FE and the midpoint of RN. Next, number 5, FD is congruent to DE. Since FE is divided into 2 equal parts by point D, which is the midpoint, therefore, half of it, which is FD, is congruent to the other half, which is DE. By the definition of midpoint. Next, number 6, segment RD is congruent to segment RD by the reflexive property. Next, number 7, triangle FDR is congruent to triangle EDR by the SSS congruence postulate or the side-side-side congruence postulate. It states there that if 3 sides of one triangle are congruent to 3 sides of the another triangle, then the 2 triangles are congruent. So here in our illustration, the sides of triangle FDR, all of it are congruent to the sides of triangle EDR. So that is why the 2 triangles are congruent. Next, number 8, angle FDR is congruent to angle EDR by CPCTC, or corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So since triangle FDR and triangle EDR are congruent, therefore, every corresponding part of one triangle is congruent to the other. Next, number 9, angle FDR and angle EDR are right triangles by the definition of linear pair. So when we say linear pair, a linear pair is 2 angles that are adjacent and whose non-common sides form a straight line. So here, as you can see, this is angle FDR and on the other side is angle EDR. The 2 non-common sides of the 2 angles form a straight line. So therefore, both angles are right angle. And then last, number 10, FE is perpendicular to RN. Perpendicular lines meet to form right angles. So when 2 lines are perpendicular to each other, they form right angles. So again, let us use some properties of parallelogram to solve a given problem. So the problem, parallelogram FREN again is a rhombus. Find the missing value using the given information. So it states there that if Rn is equal to 20 cm, find ND. So here is the illustration of rhombus FREN. As you can see, Rn is the diagonal, one of its diagonal. So it measures 20 centimeters. Now we are going to find the segment ND. So since rhombus is a parallelogram, its diagonal bisect each other. It means that it divides each other into 2 equal parts. Thus, if Rn is 20 centimeter, then ND is 1/2 of Rn. So now, by substitution, we are going to replace Rn by 20 centimeter. So we will have ND or segment ND is equal to 1/2 times 20. Now solving that, 20 times 1 divided by 2, the answer will be 10. So the measure of ND or segment ND is 10 centimeters. Alright, next given. If the measure of angle NDE is equal to x squared plus 65 degrees, find the value of x. So our task is to find x. So this is again the illustration of rhombus FREN. And as you can see, this is angle NDE here in the middle. So the diagonals of a rhombus are perpendiculars. perpendicular. Thus, angle NDE here is a right angle. So therefore, it measures 90 degrees. So angle NDE is equal to 90 degrees. Now, to find x, we are going to substitute the measure of angle NDE here on the left side of the equation by our given. So it will become x squared plus 65 degrees is equal to 90 degrees. Next, transpose 65 degrees to the other side of the equation. So remember that in transposing, you need to change the sign. So from positive 65, it will become negative 65. So our equation now will be x squared is equal to 90 degrees minus 65. Now, solving that 90 degrees minus 65 degrees, we will have x squared is equal to 25 degrees. Next, get the square root of both sides of the equation to get the value of x. So, getting the square root of both sides, the value of x now will be positive 5 or negative 5. Now, let's move to square. As we all know, the properties of rhombus and rectangle are also the properties of square. So we are going to use them to solve the given problem. So the problem here, we have parallelogram BEST is a square. Find the missing value using the given information. So I have here the illustration of square BEST. So the first information, if segment YE is equal to x plus 5 and segment BS is equal to x plus 25, find segment TE. So as you can see, here is segment TE, that is one of the diagonals of the square. So for us to find TE, we need to double YE, or we need to multiply YE by 2. But since we don't have the exact value or exact length of YE, first we are going to solve for the value of x muna. So, since square is a parallelogram, its diagonals bisect each other. By the way, according to our given, we have only half of TE and diagonal BS. So, thus, if YE is equal to x plus 5, then 2YE is equal to BS. Or twice YE is equal to diagonal BS. Remember, we are first solving for the value of x. So, substituting our given, we are going to substitute YE, x is equal to x plus 5, and BS is equal to x plus 25 to our equation. So, we will have 2 parenthesis x plus 5 is equal to x plus 25. Next, to solve for the left side, or to remove the parenthesis on the left side of the equation, we are going to use naman distributive property. So, 2 times x, that will be 2x, and 2 times 5, that will be 10. So, the left side will now be 2x plus 10 equals to x plus 25. Now, let us transpose x from the right side to the left side of the equation and positive 10 from the left side to the right side of the equation. But always remember that in transposing, you need to change the sign. So, since they are both positive, once they are transposed to each side, they will change their sign. So, we will have 2x minus x is equal to 25 minus 10. Now, solving the left side, 2x minus x, the answer is x. And then the right side, 25 minus 10, the answer is 15. Therefore, the value of x is equal to 15. Next, now let us try to find the value or to find the length of TE. As you can see, to find TE, again, we need to multiply YE by 2. So, our equation will be TE is equal to 2YE or 2 times segment YE. So, substituting, we'll have TE is equal to 2 parenthesis x plus 5 because that is the value of YE. Now, again, let us first, since we have the value of x earlier, and that is 15, substitute muna natin siya. So, we will have TE is equal to 2 parenthesis 15 plus 5. So, here, hindi na tayo magdi-distributive property. We just first solve the inside of the parentheses. So, TE is equal to 2 times 15 plus 5, that is 20. So, we'll have TE is equal to 2 times 20. And 2 times 20, the answer is 40. So, segment 40 is equal, segment TE is equal to 40. Alright, so let's move to B. So, if the measure of angle SYT is equal to 4x plus 10, find the value of x. So, this is the illustration of our square. So, angle SYT, as you can see, is a right angle. So, this is SYT. Why? Because BS is perpendicular to TE. Thus, the measure of SYT or angle SYT is equal to 90 degrees. Now, to find x, let us substitute SYT or angle SYT by 4x plus 10. So, we will have 4x plus 10 is equal to 90 degrees. Next, to solve for x, transpose positive 10 to the other side of the equation or to the right side of the equation. So, from positive 10, it will become negative 10. So, now, we will have 4x is equal to 90 minus 10. 90 minus 10, solving that, the answer will be 80. So, we will have 4x is equal to 80. So, to find the value of x, divide both sides by 4. So, the value of x now will be 20. Next, let us have letter C. So, if the measure of angle EBS is equal to 2y minus 9, find the value of y. So, this is EBS. And as you can see here, EBS is half of our right angle B. So, the measure of EBS is equal to 45 degrees. Now, to solve for y, we are going to substitute angle EBS by 2y minus 9. So, we will have 2y minus 9 is equal to 45. Now, transpose negative 9 to the other side of the equation or to the right side. So, from negative, it will become positive. So, we will have 2y is equal to 45 plus 9. And 45 plus 9, the answer is 54. So, now we will have 2y is equal to 54. Dividing both sides by 2 to get the value of y. So, the value of y will now be 27. So, that's it for our quarter 3 week 2 CLAID modules. Remember that The struggle you're in today is developing the strength you need for tomorrow. So thank you, everyone. God bless and keep safe.